Gentlemen, brothers, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Sovereign Savage, where we learn to align, get back to being and acting like men, godly men. This morning, it's Tuesday. Uh, like we mentioned yesterday, we're going to be going back to the basics in the sense of doing a recap of body, being, balance, and business. Today, we're going into being. So, welcome to Chasing Alignment. It is Tuesday. We're going to go ahead and start in breath and then prayer. So we know the rhythm: three in, three out. Or sorry, hold, and then hold in between. And then we'll take it into prayer. So three in, first one in, out, and hold, in, hold, out, and hold, in, hold, out, hold. Father God, thank you for this new morning. Thank you for the new opportunity that you provided us with today. Lord, thank you for the men that woke up and rose to chase after all that you are calling us to get after. Lord, navigate through us. Let your will be done through us. Use us to carry out your mission. And may we boldly step into wherever it is that you're taking us. Lord, again, I thank you for these men that are here today. Thank you for the brothers that are not able to make it today, the ones that are on their way. And may you just consistently move in each in our lives. And may what is said here today impact us in ways that we can go out and impact others. In your holy and gracious name I pray. Amen. So, men, welcome, welcome, welcome. With what we've learned from prior processes and the body being balanced in business, we know that being is the domain where we step into who we are and whose we are. And in my experience, I've learned that being for me is also not just my relationship with God, but also my mindset. Um, I know for a long time, I've always been quick to, when I'm hearing somebody, always trying to find the positive perspective or a positive light in the situation. To me, that speaks that there's a motivator inside of me. So sometimes, from time to time, I need to listen to even just motivationals just to keep myself in the right perspective, the right frame. Um, and I say that because often we can see a lot of negativity, and that can definitely affect us. It definitely has its effects on me. Um, where sometimes I think I like to say my social battery runs out. Um, but no, it's part of that also reinforcing and training that positive mindset that despite what something, if someone has something to say or what kind of effect that could potentially have on me, that I'm not going to let that just deter me or set me up for being in a position that I'm not trying to be. Uh, so I'm going to open the floor real quick and we'll go ahead and share. I kind of would like to hear everyone's journey with being throughout the last year, and what are those places that you know that you also need to fill up from time to time to make sure that you are in line with who you are and whose you are. So I'll let someone jump out.
Yeah, I got it.
Craig's gonna be the one. I'm
I'll
gonna
go.
shift this camera real quick. You, sir.
Gotcha. So
Your mic's off.
my mic is on.
Off.
No, I read you.
Okay.
Oh, it's on. It's on. Okay, cool, cool.
All
Yeah.
right. So, when I was thinking about, being coming in this morning and over this past year, been fairly really consistent with like daily reading of scripture, going through, I do well with like plans. So I'll do like, reading plans or lesson plans and just, whether it be a 5 day, 2 day, or a 30 day, and then like every day I'll be intentional about doing that, but I thought about habits, and like, I don't know, there was a time to where like I was very intentional when I would wake up every day. I would start like when I would open my eyes, and I think it was James Wiseman that got me doing this. Was it Wiseman? Wiseman?
Weisman,
Wiseman.
I think.
Um, I start with just like immediately when I wake up, I do breath and I do prayer, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful in prayer for the breath that He's given me to go through another day, and then like somewhere over the past year, I stopped doing that. Yeah, I don't know why. So I kind of went back to that this morning, trying to say, okay, I'm going back to my basics. You know, I started incorporating fasting again last month, um, which is good. That's dual purpose. One, it's a little bit selfish for me, but also I try and keep it in what's it trying to show me by denying the flesh, what's it trying to show me. Um, and then I was thinking about, how do I be to keep renewed, not let it be a stale consistency, right? Like, oh, I just got to do this. I don't want it to turn into that. And sometimes it feels like that. So maybe like I'm going to set a weekly time on my calendar, say like, I don't know, every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. I'm going to take a second, reflect, give a little gratitude, and try and renew my faith, as far as like a weekly basis. Um, I think us showing up here shows a lot, with what we're talking about, about being a man. Um, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another, So I think all of us kind of feed into each other on that. Yeah. So what do you guys think? Anything coming up on being with like habits and
Um, I would say being is the hardest one to measure.
yeah.
It's less physical, so you don't have the weight, you don't have the nutrition for me to track for as far as my experience. Balance, you can ask somebody else how they see how they see you. And business is dollars, but being is like at the beginning of the year, my impossible goal was to have 700 stacks. Well, I don't remember the last time I've done a stack since starting S.Savage, where the focus is off of stacks. Um, but also just because I've done a stack doesn't mean I'm increasing being. Um, Thinking about this since yesterday, like how would I answer that question? Where am I at? Um, in my 2 year journey and second year of that being with you guys, I realized that my identity cannot be within my career. And I've had these conversations with other agriculture teachers, and it's kind of a lifestyle. You don't just like wake up and go teach ag and go back home and be a different person. It's definitely have to be built for it as far as all the stuff that we do, and it's pretty stressful. And there's a lot of different hats we have to wear within being an ag teacher. But I realized that I need to be a person other than an ag teacher is when I kind of shifted as far as who I am and what I'm doing. Um, my success isn't just because I have students who do XYZ. It's my success is because I have daughters and a wife who are living the life that they're supposed to. Um, my focus turned to making sure that my daughters are taken care of and getting what they need rather than making sure that I get accolades within as an FFA advisor because that's what people see. When we retire and just thinking about, okay, what if I wasn't an ag teacher? Like, how would I be mentally? And my identity was too tied to being an ag teacher and FFA advisor. Like, I don't know what else I would do. Um, the other being part that I think I've increased in is I had a Sunday school friend who told everybody at class about a year ago, like he's going to do lay leader servant or lay leader training. And he asked if I wanted to, or I said I would do it with him. So I've done two trainings. I've then like certification trainings to be a lay leader in our church. Within that time process, I was also asked to be the council chairman for our church. Um, Not that those things are being, but if I hadn't gone through this process of improvement and wanting to improve my being, I don't think I would ever said, yeah, I'll be a lay leader. I'll go through trainings. I'll do a sermon, which I did in June.
Yeah,
Like
I remember that.
I remember that. I, but also being of, I think my being has always been different than others. I mean, it kind of goes with being an ag teacher. I've had parents ask, like, you're so good with my kid. Like, he hates school. He doesn't want to do anything in school, but he do things for you. Or he's like, successful in your class because of what you teach and what you do. And, or teachers be like, I can't believe you were taking that kid out of state. Like, he's fine with me. Like, just how I treat people. And I think I'm treating people better than I used to because that's part of your being is being self-aware of how you're acting and being in check with your feelings. Not perfect, but there's been plenty of times where I could lose my cool and I don't. And I think that's a being aspect because you're tuned into what you're feeling and how you're acting.
Yep, I have to agree as well. And
Being
okay, here we go, coming back. Uh, a couple of things that you kind of just touched on. Like one thing that did come to mind was you mentioned about those stacks. Um, and maybe we're not doing the stacks in the sense that we used to, but we are still doing these videos on almost a daily basis. So that could
totally.
still be counted towards your goal, you know?
Yeah.
Um, but I think that you just exposed the growth in being in that because had you not even started with the intention to set
Corey's
out,
internet slow today.
yeah,
Or is
it's
it mine?
It's terrible. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm going to turn off my video.
Had
Yeah,
you
it's
not
glitchy here too.
had you not started with that intention of doing the stacks, and it could have just been the Bible stacks at the moment, you may have not had um
I think
the
we lost everybody.
I hope not.
Hey, Bill, and it's gonna go lower.
All right, we're back.
Oh yeah, we're coming back. We're coming back.
Yeah, we're
Yeah, we're definitely
having
having some internet issues.
That one right there. But no, Kurt, I definitely feel that because of what you set out to accomplish at the beginning of the year, that's giving you the stamina to even have the confidence to step into not just delivering that sermon, but becoming what was it called? Lay
Lay leader.
lay leader.
way later. Yeah.
Way leader. Okay.
Lay, lay,
So
lay. Lay.
there, there's how you notice if your being has been growing, I would have to say, which I believe it has, as you just went over.
Yeah.
Uh,
Thank you.
and again, thank you for mentioning the fact that, being is also different. Every domain is not going to be the same for all of us. You know, they're going to be revealed to us, they're going to show in different ways, and they're going to mean different things for us. But as long as we stay in that rhythm of training in it, cultivating it, that's how we know we expand. It's not, this is like you said, it's harder to see the fruit of being because it's not really tangible.
Mhm.
But we know that we're going to need to develop a rhythm or a routine to make sure that we stay on track. So how do you measure that? The routine and the rhythm.
Yeah. And that's kind of like where I was going. Is like, I don't want the habit that we've built to go stale. That I want to, which, has it goes in and out, and then I have to remind myself, no, who's my focus on? But you brought up a good point with the stack, and I really haven't I guess I have thought about it, but maybe not to the degree I should have. But, you know, let me ask, Sean, if you don't mind, Sean, would you
No, I'm
guys
here.
like,
I'm here. I'm here.
yeah, I was just curious, how do you feel about not
Uh,
logging a stack?
I didn't log a lot of stacks.
Yeah,
I would just do them to do them.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
There have been times the past couple of months that when I'm upset and I thought, I could do an angry stack or irritation stack and that helped me process. But rather than pulling up my phone and going through the questions. I just kind of processed it on my own, which is
Yeah.
probably not as efficient or as thorough, but it gave me the structure, the mindset of like, okay, I'm upset right now. I don't need to go chew somebody out.
Right.
I don't need to go hammer a beer because that's what's it's going to make me feel better and take away my problems. Or go grab some shit to eat that's going to make me feel good in the moment because it pumps my dopamine up.
Mhm.
But I
Yeah.
can look
Absolutely.
at things and I'm not, and I've told Ray this too, like having a conversation with somebody or I got an issue with somebody or people, and I'm why lesson apply in my head, and or I'm thinking about around the block. Like just because I don't haven't done the stack, I think I'm more aware of how to look at things.
Right, right. And I think that is ultimately, why the stack yields what it does because it makes a stop and down and with time invested into it, then you start operating from that perspective. And you're like, okay, well, now I'm noticing that there is a struggle. I'm noticing that I want to come up with something outside of myself to sorry, I'm trying to do this. I want to come up with something, or I just need something really quick outside of myself to make me feel better in this moment.
Right.
And my experiences with that, it has led me to shame and regret.
Totally.
And another beautiful thing about, trusting and surrendering it to the Lord that I can't find a time where trusting his way has led me to shame and regret. Trusting truth has made me feel like I'm lesser than, or I'm just escaping in the moment.
I think I agree with you because we're looking for those things outside of us to take care of what's inside of us.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do not have a whereabouts of your being, then you'll constantly be looking for outside sources.
Yeah. Outside sedation.
And if, I mean, going to Husker football games on Saturdays and just you start wondering, start thinking, and a person that you don't know catches your eye across the way, or as you're walking up to your seat, and they're overweight or whatever. Or I'm watching people walk by me as they're going to their seats, and like I wonder what their problem is. And maybe it's weird for me to think, like, wonder what problem he's trying to sedate with carrying two beers up to his seat, or she, or just I see things in me, then I wonder what if other people are not seeing in them.
Right.
'Cause-
Yeah, I have to agree because it's also like we all struggle with different things, right? We all have different escapes. Um, for some, it's the alcohol. For some of us, it's the food, um, or just distractions like dating apps, or out there trying to just talk to people. Um, but in that sense, they're exclusive to us. But in the grand scheme, they're not so exclusive because, again, these are all things we're just trying to get into to really get away from what's truly bothering us.
yeah,
And unless we do decide, like, okay, well, let me just sit in this and at least, if I can't get an answer now, at least I can build the stamina to know that I don't have to turn to something else. I don't have to turn to the sweets. I don't, despite there being chocolate, candy, and donuts typically always in the office. I don't have to turn to that if the conversation I just had with a prospect went bad, or if something on a project went wrong and I don't know what to do. So the little bit of awareness that starts growing as the time goes on continues to give us that stamina of like, okay, so I was able to make it through this. Can I make it to the next one? I was listening to Eric Thomas here this morning on the way here, and he was saying that his his mind was telling him, "Hey, you're tired." He had gotten done work, I think, doing the stair stepper for like an hour. I mean, anybody doing a stair stepper for an hour, like, dude, you deserve to say you're tired. But
Yeah.
then his body is telling him it's time to run, and he was like, "No, I'm not going to run. Just do 2 minutes." because you start with just those 2 minutes, you build that little bit of stamina. And I don't know about you guys, but most of the times that even on the treadmill, that I've had a personal best time has never been that, okay, so now I'm going to try to see how far I can push. It was just, okay, I've gotten this far. Let me just keep going to see what happens. And again, trusting and giving into the moment and not surrendering to the mind. It's led me to somewhere that I got like a genuine proud moment of.
Yeah, me running is all your fault. It's
It's
all your fault. That's how it starts. Andy's like, just run. We're going to run 10 minutes. We don't care how far we go. We're just going to run 10 minutes. Now I'm like Forrest Gump. So,
Yeah.
but hey, let's take a few minutes, and
Well, let's see if anybody else wants to share a little bit of their journey with their being in their this year, or um, even where you are right now in being.
yeah, anybody got anything they want to share?
Yeah, I'll share, guys. Yeah, kind of along the same lines, man. A lot's changed, and you got to be willing to get into new things in order to really, for me, connect with God. Like the same old thing isn't the same old thing, Although there is a thing about God that is like everlasting and kind of his. You guys know him, but there's like a part of life that catches up to him. Like running, I guess, in your guys' case. And for me, it's like never really letting myself get lazy. That's been the big thing. To be obedient with him is never really like, okay, I need a break. Like tired for sure, worn out, but taking breaks just to take breaks, because things are good enough or whatever. And like, and chasing God with wanting to know him more and actually wanting to be usable and not just sitting on the sidelines or trying to fix myself or whatever. Being in my head, getting out of my head has been more of, all right, man, like what can I get after? Like what can I actually go do to get my mind out of my mind and to get my mind out of whatever I'm thinking and get my heart back in alignment. And it's not just being busy, it's being about whatever I got to do, like having a list. That was a good thing about the Warriors Way last year was, changing your lists. And now I've got this weekly breakdown, calendar that I break through every week. And I write down my list of things that I got to do. And then I go fit them into my day. And that's all newer things that I've, kind of always done in my head, but now I can go be about doing it. It gives me something that I know that I ought to be doing instead of like playing around on my phone or trying to, like follow distractions and let my mind go on vacation mode, which really doesn't ever pay off well. It never does me any good. So my being has been tying into doing things with the Lord, not just doing just to do, but trying to be like, okay, Lord, you're here with me. You're here in this moment. What does this mean? What can I do? How do I behave? How do I react? How do I respond? And then, yeah, doing that. That's been my alignment.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're still doing your list, man. That weekly war stuff's legit for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
It saves me so many times, man. And when I don't do it, I'm definitely less structured and a little more chaotic.
Yeah. I was talking to this lady that I do some work with, and she even called me on it. She was like, I was being sporadic about ideas for business and whatever. And she's like, dude, what happened to like the things, like the list of the things you were doing? And what about all that? And I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. I do have things I need to focus on instead of, trying to impress her or trying to get too many things done at one time.
Right.
I think those are like some sweet things that you're bringing up. Yesterday I was listening to something. I forget. And I can go back and find it and share it. But we're supposed to. It's like he broke it down. He gave Bible verses for it. But it was ultimately be do have. Um, as men, we're supposed to, know who we are, and stay productive. And through that will lead to abundance. And doesn't necessarily just have to be financial. We know that now, but just abundance in all domains. So, and he broke it down so simply. That we, the more that we be doing, the more that we be and that we do, the more that we'll have. And on the opposite side as well, the less that we're in our being, the less that we're doing, the less we will have. So I think that the way that you said that now I'm focusing on doing with God is tapping straight into that. And that abundance is just going to keep on growing because now it's in that right alignment. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then
Yeah.
going back and staying focused because we know an arrow without direction is just going to get taken. So having that list, like, okay, here's my focus. Boom, 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 boom.
Yep, I refer to it a lot. I don't ever knock. That's not true. I've knocked everything out before, but it's rare. It's more like just keeping me on the right path, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause it's
Nathaniel,
not
you
a,
awful quiet this morning. You in the shower?
Probably so. Wade, good morning. Good morning, brother.
Yeah, I'm in the shower. Andy, what was your original question?
Kind of where are you at, either where you at now in being, or kind of just like a recap of just, within the last year, like how you feel that your being has grown, your who you are and whose you are.
I have learned to be at peace, not on the mountaintop. I look for that mountaintop experience when I'm truly seeking after God, and I want His closeness, and I just want to feel that radiant feeling of when you're just walking side by side with Christ. I was looking for that, and that's not reality. You spend very little time on the mountaintop compared to the valleys.
Mhm.
And a valley doesn't even have to be a dark place. A valley can just be humdrum, mediocre life, coasting through it. Nothing crazy going on. Devil's not trying to destroy everything around you. But it's just that I was like, yeah, it's like a high. That mountaintop's like a high, I guess, that I was seeking. And I have learned that my faith at this point is unshakable. I know exactly who He is and who I am in Him, and I just rest in that. I don't need that mountaintop. I don't need to be uh, leading men's group Bible studies and singing in the choir or whatever we all attain to do when we're trying to impress God or we're walking real close with God. Just being content, knowing that He is there and that I am His.
Yeah, I hear you. Just being in the moment, being okay despite whatever the moment is, and whether it's at the top or the valley, the peak or the valley, that He's there with you.
Yeah, it's like if I'm not on the mountaintop, if I'm not reading my Bible like I'm reading my cell phone every day, and if I'm not teaching a men's group, and if I'm not going to church on Sunday and Wednesday, if I'm not doing all that, then am I really walking with God?
Mm.
And it's an unattainable goal to be on the mountaintop 24/7. Even
Yeah.
Jesus came down off the
Man,
mountain.
those are great. That's great. You just made my whole video right now. That's good stuff, Nathaniel, for sure. But no, you're right, man, because you feel that. You feel that. But it's okay. And truthfully, when you talk about the valley, I name it the pit. Give me the pit. Give me the pit so my faith is forged by walking through the pit, knowing that we can visit the mountaintop. We visit the mountaintop to refuel our faith, kind of like grabbing that dopamine from the sun, getting that cortisol pumping through your blood.
Yeah, I mean,
You're
in the
right.
Bible, nobody spent very much time on the mountaintop.
Right, right. So that's what I'm saying. You reach that, you feel those moments, man, and it's great. And it's like just refueling your soul. And then it's back to the pit. That's where the work's done.
You're not forged at the top.
Right. You're not forged at the top. Man, that needs to be a t-shirt right there. Yeah.
Copywriting that, trademarking that.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else got anything? Why don't we take like 7 minutes? You do your journal, post your video. We'll do what do you want to do? Just hashtag being
Yeah, we'll do a being revelation.
revelation.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Set 7 minutes. Set a timer for us. Go ahead and share. Bang. It should be 7 minutes. All right, we're coming up on the end. A couple more seconds, and then we'll start coming back. Maybe if we don't get booted again. Mm. Repeat. All right, all right. We'll start coming back. Um, I don't know if I'm seeing movement just yet, but no big deal. All right, guys. So I guess we'll just wait a couple more minutes to see if Sean and Wahid get back in here. Nathaniel's here already. Artem, Kurt are here.
Talking with the remote on. So sidebar to that, just so everyone's aware, when you go in the office this morning, yes, the World Series went 18 innings last night,
Jeez.
and the Los Angeles Dodgers
Lost.
won with a walk-off home run in the 18th inning, winning 5-6.
Wow. Dang, bro.
So
Wow.
I just didn't go to bed. I just came straight here. Yeah.
I was about to say. Golly.
I'm on caffeine and dreams, baby. No, I'm
That's
kidding. I went to bed. So
I don't think any of those guys were prepared to play 2 full baseball games yesterday.
yeah,
That's crazy.
and they're back tonight.
Yeah.
It's going to be a weird
Yeah.
game tonight.
Well, hoping Toronto pulls this one off.
So yeah, I know I'm not the biggest Dodgers fan, but
Uh,
and my nephew just moved to college over there
in California,
and
Toronto,
he's in Canada.
Canada.
I think he's in Ontario. I think. Um, but I was messing with him on the phone. I'm like, man, you moved to Canada, now Toronto's in the World Series. What the heck? When was the last time that happened?
Tell him to move into New York. I'll take either team at this point. All right, guys. Well, welcome back. Welcome back. I hope everybody was able to get a revelation and have a great share. Just because we're doing things a little bit different this week, we'll go ahead and when you get a chance, get back into the app, listen to what a brother had to say, what your brothers had to say, encourage, or just give them a like. I think I kind of like the transition from yesterday to today because yesterday I think it was a little more external focus, but today was very internal focused. So I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah.
With that, we'll go ahead and start slowing down. Wahid, if you don't mind, if you can, if you wouldn't mind leading us into breath and prayer on the way out. Oh, all right, I guess not. Kurt, you want to go ahead and slow us down?
Sure can. And I want to say thank you, Andy and Craig, for your comments on the community yesterday on replying to my video. So those meant a lot to me. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely, bro.
Sometimes don't think I've accomplished enough. And I think I once said that when I first started my teaching career at where I'm at 20 years ago. And I always felt like I could do more. And that guy said that's a sign of a good teacher, is you're always looking for more.
Yeah.
Be thirsty, be hungry, be driven for more, and that's what I continue to do. And a day I had yesterday of, walk into a unofficial staff meeting between 4 teachers who've got an issue with the thing that I'm kind of involved in. And I walk in and I was going to talk to one teacher, get her perspective on things. And 4 of them were talking about the subject. And I walk in the room and they say, "Speak of the devil, Kurt, fix this." So I did. And
Yeah, yeah.
like, good thing I have broad shoulders because there's a lot of things on them right now. Sometimes you got to relax those shoulders and let some things slide off. So let's get into it. 3 in and outs, deep and paused. Breathe in and out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in and out. Heavenly Father, so many times we walk this earth looking for the answers to our problems. And sometimes we need to stop, hit our knees, look up to you, and find all the answers. The answers may not be what we thought they would be. The answers may not be what others want or what others seem to be thinking is the right way. when we line our ways and line our thoughts and line our decisions with what you think would be best, there's no way of going wrong. Um, Thank you for our progress within our being and our revelations in our being. It's probably the most difficult for any of us to navigate and to work on and to know what we have accomplished. We can't improve.
I think we lost him. Oh, yep, mine's gone.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right. So we did not just disappear, but we just met. We all reappeared, though. We all reappeared.
You had to shut me off one way or another.
No, no, we were starting to get in. We were starting to get in. But I guess I'll just do a quick closing charge. Kurt, thank you for praying us out, and thank you for that prayer.
Of course.
So here we go. Men, this is your process. This is how warriors are made. Be real about your war. Be raw about your weakness. Stay relevant in your application. Produce results through obedience. Truth is your belt. Righteousness is your shield. Peace is your pace. And faith your defense. Salvation is your security. And the word is your weapon. Stand firm, lead strong, and walk armored. Fly sovereign, strike savage. Guys, get after it today. We will be here tomorrow again. Tomorrow we're doing balance. So that'll be fun. That'll be a good one to kind of also share on, again, where we've been throughout the last year or even just where we are right now. All right,
I
brothers.
will not be on tomorrow, but I'll try to be involved in the
Okay.
online.
If you get the opportunity, when you get the opportunity throughout the day, again, go and encourage your brothers, listen to their shares. If it's just a like, or if something came to you, or you just want to encourage your brother in some type of way, get that out there to them. All right, guys.
All
Take
right.
care.